This is what I would do if I were the GM of every single NBA team. We're going to do it alphabetical order, as usual. Go through every single team, just give my thoughts. Most of the moves have already been done, which is good because now I can actually see what the vision is. And this is more just different types of moves, how I would go about each team. So we're starting off with the Atlanta Hawks. There isn't much to change, but maybe I would get rid of the big D. And by the big D, I mean Dyson Daniels. Just because he can't shoot, but his value is actually pretty high because he's young, he's a great defender, he's been a part of the team for a long time, and there are plenty of people out there who probably would want him. Maybe ship him off at the deadline because now you have better wing depth, like Lou Dort, Aaron Wiggins, they can actually do something. The double D duo of Dort and Daniels, by the way, extremely fire nickname. That's going to be very good defensively. Offensively, they both can't shoot. So what are we doing? I would look for a sign and trade with Kuminga just because you could get assets for that. I think they're already doing that, but I would just make sure that actually gets done. And I'd wait for Jalen Johnson to become a star and then make a big splash trade for a secondary guy. Boston Celtics. First of all, Brad Stevens is just gone. I know I'm replacing him, but he'd be just even further gone. Actually, I'd invite him back to the facility. I'd call up Jaylen Brown. I'd call up Paul George. I would do whatever it takes to get them to be okay with 1v1ing each other. Maybe I'd do it for stream or something because I would cater towards Jaylen Brown. I'd make Brad Stevens watch over and over and over again as Jaylen Brown just destroys him, and I'd do that until Paul George gets injured to prove a point. Then I'd salary dump Brad Stevens in Yucatan and make him rethink his decision making. Here's the thing though. Paul George is making like $52 million, and you require 2 first-round picks with him. Big fish hunting. Also, every single team that's traded Paul George has become a contender all of a sudden. Indiana and OKC, they were both playing each other in the finals just not too long ago. So just by trading Paul George, you're making your team a contender. Low Kirk, I would hit up the Warriors and be like, Steph Curry, we could give a bunch of firsts and Hugo Gonzalez or something and Paul George. Or maybe I'd go for AD. Just trade him for something out there and try to win with Tatum in depth with that second star. If that doesn't work, start over, rebuild. It's over. Brooklyn Nets. I'm going to be calling you the Brooklyn Nets because that's your only hope. That was a good joke. Your star players are MPJ and Julius Randle. That is just looking very dark. Ship Randle off into space and let MPJ stat pad and flip him for a first or 2 or a young player. We got a ton of young, promising talent. Like Summer League, our backcourt was looking nice. So I would just be like, let's let them develop, let's let them cook, and I'm really not worried. And MPJ can just hopefully stat pad his way onto a contender and get us some firsts in the process. Charlotte Hornets. The first thing I'm doing is taking Del Curry's jersey down so I can more ceremoniously put it back up and re-retire it. Then I'm retiring Aisha Curry's jersey number. Then I'm signing Seth Curry. Then I'm getting on my knees and giving Steph Curry the craziest glade job in NBA history, begging him to pull up to Charlotte. Give up whatever necessary picks. Just don't give up Brandon Miller, Concanipple if possible. Recreate the Splash Brothers in Charlotte, and Concanipple is Clay, and Curry is Curry. That's the method. Doesn't happen, I guess just keep the ship sailing with Con and Brandon Miller, and at some point trade for another star, because the depth is nice, and the supporting cast is great, but you're missing the guy. I don't know if Concanipple will be the guy. He is going to be a guy. Chicago Bulls. I'm already excited about the direction now that we got Caleb Wilson. I'm giving him all 48 minutes of playing time, and I'm turning his shot tendencies way up. Tell Giddey he can bring the ball up, and his only job is to swing the rock to Caleb Wilson every single time. Open 3, I want 2 though, 3. Swing it to Caleb Wilson. Open layup, recreate the LeBron to D Wade picture, but just with Caleb Wilson. You're at the free throw line. You shouldn't be at the free throw line because you can only get there if you were fouled on a shot attempt, which you should not be having because Caleb Wilson's the only one on the team who's allowed to be doing that. Just give the Lil Ticket his big shot. Give him the keys and let him go brazy. Nick Claxton can stay too. I like him. Matas Buzelis, shout out him. He will be nice and good for the future. Him, Caleb Wilson, Josh Giddey, I don't know. I can't consider you young talent because you slept with some young talent. Cleveland Cavaliers. It's actually chill because you guys just won the analytical title and you analytically just acquired LeBron James. Super Mario isn't saving us, so I just go through the necessary hoops to get either Peyton Watson or Jonathan Kuminga. Preferably not Kuminga because I think we actually need to inject some winning basketball into the Cavaliers. I would re-sign James Harden during the regular season, and for the playoffs, I'm switching him out for the LeBron James hairline guy. I just trust him more with the rock than Harden in the playoffs. I'd say this is our last year trying with the whole D-Mitch, Harden, Allen, Mobley era and whatnot. Blow it up while the guys still have value if we don't have any success this season. The Mavericks. I would sign Nico Harrison just to fire him again. I know that was forever ago, but there really hasn't been enough said about just how stupid that was. At least Cooper Flagg looks like he'll one day be a top 5 player in the league. The keys have already been given to him, but I'm just going to give him the keys to the city while we're at it. He immediately gave the worst possible situation a bunch of hope, so props to him. I would tell Risa Shea that he's good at basketball and that he was the number 1 pick for a reason, even though it's not true. We're going to hold a funeral for Ryan Nembhard because why did we trade him? And for the love of God, y'all got to actually find a real point guard, so we're going to be trading Gafford and PJ Washington to whoever for hopefully a good young point guard. I don't know who, but you can find somebody out there. Trust in the Flag. Nuggets. Holy schmoly, what are we cooking right now? I would try to see if the cap space team would be willing to take on Cam Johnson because he's a good player and he's also on an expiring contract. So there are probably either contending teams or just teams with a little bit of cap space or whatever that would be willing to take on that bigger contract because he's just, he's good value. If anything else, he's just like average value for his contract. I'd try to salvage the P-Watt situation because he's a key component of the team moving forward. And if we can't, we immediately got to get Peyton Watson out of here to the highest bidder right now. If we piss him off too much, he'll kill the leverage, and then we'll have to ship him off to the Lakers for Dalton Connect and Jake LaRavia, who I don't think know how to play basketball. So we got to get him somewhere with assets and somewhere that he wants to play at because it's going to come down to a sign and trade. Then we got to revamp the roster from there. We have to put all of our first, seconds, everything on the table because Jokic still hasn't re-signed a long-term extension, and we got to show that we still care about him and are trying to win right now. If not, we immediately have to trade him. If he doesn't re-sign, Jokic has got to get put on the table. We got to get the craziest haul in the world right now, a bigger thing than even the Giannis package was. Trade Jamal Murray, trade everybody. That's what's happening if Jokic doesn't re-sign. So hopefully it doesn't come to that because Jokic does seem like a good, loyal basketball player who's just trying to have some leverage and just trying to get his team to compete for him. So that's what we would do. The Pistons. I'd re-sign Duren and tell him to start doing layup drills instead of mewing, or he's going to have to learn Chinese. We need some actual motion around Cade. I'm hitting up Milwaukee and I'm going for Tyler Hero because his aura and his value are at an all-time low. We need actual bucket getting, and we need to play that one Jack Harlow song a couple of times, cause neuroactivation in Hero's brain. Because our defense is fine, but the offense is just not good enough. We lost Tobias Harris, and we should have gotten Rui. Maybe we somehow throw the sink at like Peyton Watson or something like that. He'd be a good fit too. He'd fit just about any team. All else fails, just turn on 2K because Cade always averages like 50 in the playoffs, and so we should be good, and he'll like 10-peat, so it'll be chill. Golden State, at this point, got to bite the bullet. We got to trade Big Curry. You missed out on LeBron, Jaylen Brown, AD, the whole shebang. Clearly, you don't want to see Curry win. I want to see Curry win. So I'm going to ship him off to the Spurs and try to get either Harper or Castle. Spurs are probably not dumb enough to do that. They're probably going to be like, hey, take Fox, and hopefully we could just get a bunch of firsts as well. Hopefully revamp his career, but it'll probably fail, but then you at least got the firsts, Send pods in the middle of the ocean without food and water. Okay. Keep Yaks for the vibes, start over, and rebuild. I don't think Warriors fans want to be blue-balled anymore. Either try to contend or restart. Being in this purgatory of in-between is just the worst thing ever. It doesn't help anybody. Clearly they don't want to try to contend, so trading Curry it is. Houston. Honestly, sue me, but I don't want to see KD on this team. The team was way more fun when it was younger and had all the youngins running around. I'm trading Şengün though just because I don't like him. But Jabari Smith and Amen are cool. They can hang around. I build around them and fine. Maybe we can like keep Şengün, I guess, if we really want to. But I'd go to a contender and be like, hey, take KD and give us a rising star or like a bunch of firsts or something that we can add to the group. The KD files, they aren't flying if I was the GM. I know everybody else forgot about them. I'm not forgetting about that. KD, you're a bum, bro. Try winning without the greatest shooter of all time on your team. Indiana Pacers. Okay, now that I get to know like the ins and outs of the teams, I'm going behind the scenes and I'm going straight to the team and being like, what the hell was going on in those magical clutch moments? Were they sacrificing goats? Were they like worshiping some god? Like what were they doing? Because we're just going to run that back and we're just not going to stop doing that because clearly something went wrong and that's what led to the Halliburton injury. Outside of that, like mainly all I'm doing is making sure that the team is healthy and good to go because I think they're going to be super good with Big Zoo. And if Hallie is himself again, this team's going to be really, really good. I would try to be a little bit more consistent during the regular season to try to get a higher seed, but I guess it doesn't really matter because they're always just so good in the playoffs, so it doesn't really matter. I'm trusting that the Halliburton run will happen again, and Zubac is just, he's really, really great. So I think that that's going to work no matter what. Clippers. I'm going to Saul Goodman because what's going on with Kawhi? It's been almost a year. Actually, I think it's been more than a year since the Kawhi stuff first hit, and we still have no reconciliation, and they're saying it's going to go into 2027. Either he did it or not. Like, we got to figure this out. Saul Goodman, he'll just go in, he'll pull a couple of strings, and suddenly some people are going to disappear, and Kawhi is going to get shipped off to the Raptors, and finally we can have Brandon Ingram, and so we can actually like restart. So we'll have Brandon Ingram, and we'll have Keaton Wagler. I'm not really a Keaton Wagler believer, but if I'm the GM, I guess I will be. If we're getting Brandon Ingram, I'm shipping off Derrick Jones Jr., even though I like him, just because his value is pretty good right now, and I just don't want him sitting on the bench for no reason. So I'm going to actually complete the rebuild and start over finally, and I'm going to admit that we're the lesser of the two teams in LA, because I think everybody knows that. The Lakers are like a move away from actually being really, really good. All they need is a backup center and a starting power forward. I know there's a whole like white guy in LA shtick going on, but we got to bring some balance to the roster racially. What's going on? It's snowing in LA for the first time since the 60s. I don't know if it's in our best interest to return to that era of hoops. I mean, low key, it would kind of play into our favor. But anyway, I'm giving Peyton Watson another hug, like at Summer League, and begging him to force his way to LA. Assuming he does, I'm either signing Nick Richards or I'm trading for Jalen Smith, and all of a sudden we're like the best team ever. Luka's going to prove why he's the best player in the world. We're going to win a chip. Enough said. Memphis. I'm leaving this season with something. I actually like the direction that the team has gone, but I'm giving Boozer the ball every single time so he can just get Rookie of the Year. Boozer is going to average 40, 15, and 15, and our team is going to have 40 points per game. It's going to completely live or die with Cam Boozer. Force his way somehow into an all-NBA team, maybe even MVP, who knows? His numbers are going to be crazy. That's the type of basketball that I'm going to be running. But in all seriousness, there's really nothing to do. You know, they're a good, like, fundamental young team, and their front office knows what they're doing, so maybe just revamp the whole, like, 2022 thing again. Cedric Coward, Cam Boozer, and Zach Edey, that's the future. Keep that going, let them develop. The Milwaukee Bucks. Just for my sanity, I'm getting rid of Tyler Hero after getting the Sonic rings knocked out of him multiple times last season. But because he disrespected Bam, I'm waving and stretching him because that's like breaking an unwritten rule. Disrespect Bam, you're off the team. Braden Burries is the team now. Tyler Hero, he can go chill in Cancun and think about what he did. He's going to miss all 82 games of next season out of respect for Bam. I'm going to tell Nate Ament it's time to stop doing the eyebrow raise thing and start actually trying to get good at basketball. Also, Khalil Ware is going to ball out because I'm trading Miles Turner. I don't care. His corny ass is not on this team. Minnesota, you missed out on LeBron, so it's time to get the backup, which is like Jonathan Kuminga, I guess, or Peyton Watson. I don't know. Those are the two guys I always like go to. But for Minnesota, just sign both Ball brothers just to unlock Melo's true potential. Actually, matter of fact, I'll sign LeVar Ball too while I'm at it. He said he could beat Michael Jordan in a 1v1 despite only having one leg. And who am I to like doubt that? We're going to be starting Melo, Ant, Jello, Lonzo, and LeVar Ball. We are basically adopting Ant into the family. His new name is Anthony Ball. 2016 Chino Hills plus Ant. We are not getting stopped. Never lost. New Orleans. I'm trading literally everybody off the team but Fears and Derek Queen. We could probably get an absolute haul for all the players that we have because the team is not a good team, but it's made up of a bunch of really good players. Just none of them are quite good enough, and so they just need to start over. It's the most clear need for a rebuild, and they have so many players that they could get so many like first, seconds they could get a haul for. Just keep Jeremiah Fears, keep Derek Queen. That's all I have to say. New York, it's a team of destiny. Who am I to change that? Just keep everybody we have. I know we lost Mitchell Robinson, but we can get a new backup center or something. What's important is that we continue to play the way and brand of basketball that we did during the playoffs. That's all that matters. The regular season last season was just Brunson ball. Then they kind of realized, let's run it through Cat sometimes too. Let's take the load off of Brunson entirely. I'm telling Suni Lee to pull up to literally every single game for OG Anunoby because you could argue he was the best player in the finals last season. OKC. Okay, OKC, I'm not actually going to make any actual moves. I'm just hiring a new PR team and I'm having a huge team meeting on how not to be super corny. Shea, pull your pants up. Asian Duke Dennis, maybe get plastic surgery because respectfully, you have the most annoying face I've ever seen. Chet, you went to Minnehaha Academy? What even is that? You got to stop acting like that. Jared McCain, stay off TikTok. Be more like J-Dub. I like him. It seems like everybody likes J-Dub. Everybody else got to tighten up. The whole team is going to have to make a Travis Scott type apology video with a black and white filter, apologizing for being so annoying and unlikable. Then just run it back and stay healthy, I guess. Orlando, put Paolo Banchero on a diet. And by a diet, I mean a shot diet. He's got to learn how to be efficient. I'm so sick of looking at his stats. I'm not even going to pretend like I actually watch the games because the amount of bricks that I see should be illegal. Get him him on the Caleb Wilson special. He shot the ball like 2,000 times over the offseason and suddenly got good at shooting from three. So Paolo, you should be able to do the same. For every game, I'm putting him on a scale and reminding him that he should just get in the paint and just body everybody because he's got like the most insane build, like 6'9", 250 or whatever it is. I don't know. They're a weird team. I'm not really sure what they're trying to do. It really all hinges on whether or not Paolo can like take that next jump or not. Philadelphia 76ers. The formula here is simple. Put Embiid in a break in case of emergency box. Let LeBron be small ball 5 and point guard kind of at the same time. If anybody can do that, it's LeBron James. Run that for the regular season. Once you get to the playoffs, the second that you're down in a series, even if that ever happens, take him out of the cardboard box, undo the little bubble wrap, file the cryo ice Star Wars thing, whatever it's called, and then inject every single steroid into him and then bet his under and then send him out there. Because the team is talented enough where they should be able to beat any team if everybody's healthy. So just as long as you keep Embiid healthy for the playoffs, you should be fine. Phoenix. I'm trading Jalen Green somewhere for an actual point guard. Because look, Devin Booker's done an okay job at point guard, but he thrives as the 2 guard. Then I'm telling Dylan Brooks that every single game he plays is an elimination game against LeBron James. He'll just ball out because he's like the villain or whatever, and then it should work out. And then we're gonna like play that one song before like the free pa that thing. I'm gonna revamp that whole thing. The Suns are gonna be running that. I'm gonna try to spring some youthful energy into the team. Maybe I'd trade Mark Williams and try to let Malawak go and ball out because he's looked really good recently, at least in summer league. He showed flashes of being really, really good. And Mark is just too inconsistent. I don't know. The Suns are kind of cooked. Like they're good, but they're not. They're another team without like a super specific direction. But if they make the right moves, who knows what happens? Portland Trailblazers. It goes without saying, we got to take the Glock out of Ja's hands. Put him on the Draymond Green type of timing, like on anger management and whatnot. Then I'm going to Denny and I'm telling him to call the higher ups. I'm not going to elaborate, but I'm like 100% sure that they're going 82-0 that season and they're never losing another game and they're going to win every single championship from now on. If that doesn't work, I'm telling Scoot that he's better than Wemby like he used to say, and I'm trying to unlock that little gremlin that's inside of him. Low key, I'd actually probably trade one of Shaedon Sharpe, Scoot Henderson, and Drew Holiday just because the guard depth is really weird with Dame and Ja. We'll see, though. Maybe they make it work. Sacramento Kings. The tallest building in Sacramento is the Wells Fargo Center, standing at a 423-foot, 129 meters, with 30 stories. Completed in 1992, it remains the defining focal point of the downtown skyline. I'm going to go to the top of that building, and I'm just going to feel out what it would be like to try and do like a flip off of it, if you get what I'm saying. I will never, and I mean never, support the Kings under any circumstances. What they've done to basketball is atrocious. San Antonio Spurs. It's really the most simple idea of all time. I go to game plan, I scroll up to De'Aaron Fox, and I'm swapping his minutes with Dylan Harper. That's literally it. And if Fox is unwilling to do that, he's going to have to learn Martian. Sending him to China is too kind. We have to make him traverse space. I guess as long as we're talking about it, I guess I'd check in on like the Curry, De'Aaron Fox trade that I was talking about earlier, because from the Spurs side of thing, that's kind of a tough trade. But if nothing else, just let Harper, Castle, and Wemby develop. They're going to be so good for like 10 years straight, so there's really nothing you really have to do. Toronto Raptors. I'm also hiring Saul Goodman and telling them to dig up evidence on Kawhi so that his contract gets waived, so I don't even have to trade for him. I can just sign him on a vet minimum. Then I'm trading Brandon Ingram just wherever, so it's Scotty and Kawhi, like intended, but then I can also get a haul for Ingram instead of having to trade him for Kawhi. The defense is just going to go crazy on the perimeter. You got Scotty Barnes, and then you got Scotty Barnes Light and Kawhi Leonard. Yeah, I said it. He's Scotty Barnes Light. Scotty Barnes is going to become better than Kawhi all the time. Utah Jazz. I'm finally going to try and win because the team should actually be pretty good this year. Losing Walker Kessler sucks, but the team's still going to be good. They got Ace Bailey, they got Darren Peterson, Keontae George, they got Lauri Markkanen, they got Triple J. Like, that's a good team. Their goal should be the play-in. If they can make the play-in, that's a successful season. And if that doesn't work, like, if for whatever reason they have, like, holes in the roster, one of Keontae George or Ace Bailey, I think, should get traded. Or maybe even Lauri Markkanen, because you could get a good return for, and then you could just fix whatever gap you find. Lauri Markkanen would be interesting, too, because everybody else on that team is super young. Washington. The AD-DA duo is going to be filthy for all 3 games that they play. I'm going to tell Ayton every single day that he's not that guy like he did in the mirror to himself that one time, because that kind of worked for that one March stint last year. Like, when he just knew that he was a role player, it actually was like better hoops. AJ DeBonsa is going to have the daunting task of trying to make the Washington jerseys look tough. If anybody can do it, it's AJ DeBonsa, though. And Trae Young has got to carry them to the best possible lottery odds by grabbing an 11 seed. I don't really know. This team's weird, but it's kind of cool because it's got good youth and it's got like high upside swings with Trae Young, AJ DeBonsa, DeAndre Ayton. You know, it's an interesting thing that they're doing. They're kind of similar to Utah, except they got like older, weirder stars. That's every single team. If you made it this far in the video, comment, make Cool Mule the GM of every team. Because, I think I did a good job. I did my research. I took my notes. What else am I supposed to do? But yeah, that's everything. Let me know what you guys think. Peace out.